Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's that time once again for another Lore of League of Legends episode. As you're well aware, we're currently in the process of covering all of Ionia's champions. With the majority of them now done, there's only a few left, and we're going to be continuing on in this episode with Udyr, the animal spirit, and Ahri, the nine-tailed fox. Enjoy! In search of their enlightenment, the monks of Ionia explore each side of their human spirituality. To achieve inner peace with oneself and pure perfection, they explore each side of their inner lives. Through long years of training and studies, they've found one way that fits them the best, whether that be seeking peace and light, or the strange beauty of deep sorrow. But it doesn't apply to everyone. Not every man was born in Ionia prepared to pursue their enlightenment through the calm journey into themselves. Udyr had been born into a simple family of farmers, but his birth had been accompanied by the rise of a red moon. Some read that as a bad sign for the future of the boy. Others were completely ignorant to it, not believing in simple superstitions. Udyr grew up without any significant problems. At least none that were visible, and people soon forgot about the bad omen. What people could not see, however, was Udyr's primal drive, hidden deep within his soul. As a small child he didn't express it, but as he was growing older, this feeling had been growing within him. Udyr soon became a problematic child. He was hard to control and simply refused to accept some of the civilized standards that were expected. He refused to talk with people he didn't know and refused to wear any unnecessary clothes. While working at his father's farm, he watched as townspeople came to buy crops from them, but he felt no connection to the other people. They were alike to him, but for some reason Udyr felt more of a connection to the wild horses he'd seen in the distance, or the wild beasts lurking at the edge of the forest. Time passed and Udyr began providing more and more trouble to his parents. He would soon sneak out of the house and tend to the wild animals he could find, and fall asleep outside beneath the stars. His parents were no strangers to having to forcefully drag him back into the house, which was always problematic. Udyr didn't enjoy the unnatural shelter they provided for him, and even less did he enjoy spending time there. He was becoming more of a beast than he was a man. His connection to the wilderness was stronger than the civilized ties that his parents forced upon him, and on the day of his 16th birthday, being officially recognized as an adult, Udyr gathered all of his belongings and announced to his family that he was leaving home, never to return. He left the farm, heading east with the simple goal that he'd set for himself, to drop the shackles of cultural expectations that society had placed upon him. Away from his family, Udyr tapped into the inner well of ferocity that he'd never known before. He let the feral senses take control of his life. He became more of a beast than he ever was a man. Setting up a lair for himself, he marked his own territory. Here, he was at the very top of the food chain. Anyone entering the lands of Udyr ran the risk of losing their lives at the assaults of the man dressed in furs and bones. Like a bear, he leapt at them from the bushes and rocks when they felt safe. Travellers just slowly followed the road. Hunters returning home with their prey or small military patrols. They all sealed their fate when they entered Udyr's territory. His reign of terror continued on the small territory for years, but it came to an unexpected end. A lone monk was travelling on the long path returning to Ionia from his journey across the continent. He'd chosen the shortest path, one that Udyr had claimed and guarded. The savage heard someone coming and, like always, he'd been waiting for them, hidden between the bushes. He awaited the right moment and then leapt forward right onto the old man. But with no effort, the old monk shoved Udyr to the side and with a single hand. Enraged, Udyr roared and struck again, but once again his attack had been blocked and himself pushed back with no visible effort from the monk. Time after time he tried to get at the monk, but every time he failed to reach him, no matter how much force he put into his attacks. the monk was seemingly unimpressed. With no sign of effort, he just countered every attack. Exhausted, Udyr fell to the ground. The monk approached him, and without a single word he gestured for Udyr to rise and follow him. Out of respect for the old man's skills, Udyr did as he was told, silently following in the monk's footsteps for days, until they reached an ancient Hirana monastery. Udyr was presented to the monks there, where they took him in, teaching him how to control his savage fury, at least most of the time. Udyr had been born a man with the spirit of beasts trapped inside his fragile body. Ahri's story is quite the opposite. She was born as a wild fox and spent her days playing with her kin in the woodlands of southern Ionia. But she did not feel good in her own skin, covered in snow-white fur. Somewhere deep inside her, she felt a strange connection with the world of magic around her. She felt that another form would suit her better than the body of a fox. She dreamt of becoming a human. This seemed like a dream for the simple fox that Ahri was. All she could do was hope that her dreams would eventually come true, and in a surprising turn of events she was granted that wish. Lured in by the sounds of battle, the young fox approached the battlefield where the forces of Noxus had been mercilessly slaying Ionians. Slowly wandering between the bloodied corpses, Ahri seemed to become attracted to one particular place on the battlefield. Following her instincts, she found the place that had seemingly called out to her. It was a hooded figure laying down on the ground, desperately trying to hold on to his life. This figure was surrounded by a magic circle of some sort that the fox did not quite understand. She approached the dying mage and in some inexplicable way, she reached into him. The life essence poured from the dying man onto the body of Ahri, filling her with power she did not previously know. The feeling was exciting, intoxicating. When she drained the remaining life essence, she just stared down upon herself, realizing that her form had changed. Her white fur was disappearing, revealing the smooth, pale skin of a human girl. Her shape was human, but Ahri realized that her transformation was not yet complete. She wasn't yet a real human, and she needed to find a way to finish the transformation. Ahri quickly adapted to her new form and learned how to use it to gather more and more life essences. She figured that if draining a human's life essence had started her transformation into humanity, then it would surely finish it as well. She found a way to use her natural beauty and charm to attract unsuspecting men into her lair and drain them, stealing their life essence until everything that was left was a withered corpse. Feeding on more and more people had slowly been bringing her closer to her goal of becoming a real human. But she soon gained a part of humanity she did not know about: guilt. She began thinking of everything she'd done in the past. When she was working on animal instincts, her actions seemed good. They allowed her not only to survive, but also climb up on the food chain. But now, Ahri had been gaining morality. She realized she wouldn't just be able to ignore these new feelings. She couldn't just keep murdering people for her own personal gain. Looking for a way to cope with her evolving morality, Ahri travelled to the continent of Valoran and found her way into the Institute of War, where the most powerful of spellcasters had been gathering. Upon hearing the young kitsune's story, the summoners offered her a chance to learn about humanity and atone for her crimes by serving as a champion in the League of Legends. And that's all I've got for you in this particular episode. Don't forget to leave your comments and feedback in the section below. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, I've got 53 others for you to go and watch, and all you have to do is click the annotation at the top of your screen right now to go and check any one of them out. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, I'll see you next time.